Hi everybody, welcome back. Today I want to talk about expectations. When I was younger, I went on a quest. In retrospect, I can tell that it was a spiritual journey. I felt disillusioned with college. I was basically there because I felt the social pressure. Felt that it was the right thing for me to do at that time in my life. And I was spending a ridiculous amount of money that I didn't have to be there, not really knowing what the pathway was. So this was causing me to do some real soul searching. Figure out what it was that I'm actually here to do. So I left college, I took some time off, and I went traveling in Europe. I have family in England, so I started there. And from that point, I was able to travel to some different places, free and easy, with my backpack and my skateboard. Just basically wandering around, figuring out what life is all about. During that time, I was living in a cave on the Canary Islands. I stayed in a wide variety of different places, but the cave was one of the most interesting. It was on a beach on the Atlantic Ocean, an entirely rock beach, a cave called the King Cave. Not a deep, dark cave like you might be imagining, but just a beautiful sea cave right next to the ocean, where simply all day was spent existing without a schedule, just the basic needs of life. We were swimming in the ocean, playing on the beach, building rock castles, rock structures, and just feeling the sensation of being right on the water. Swimming every day, living with the rhythm of nature. During that time, I was reading a book called Be Here Now, which in my opinion is a really great non-denominational book for spiritual seekers, because he references a lot of different religious traditions, but it's fairly non-dogmatic, which I believe is necessary in a spiritual teaching these days, because spiritual practice is so individualized. It's great to have traditions and practices that we can follow, but as soon as one person starts telling us this is how it is, this is the only way it needs to be, we're right, you're wrong, our God is better than your God, that's when we start to get into some real trouble. So anyways, in this book, I found the information that expectations create disappointment. Expectations create disappointment. And I realized upon reflection how often I was doing this in my life. I realized that I was expecting a lot, but not really making plans to make it happen in physical reality. But I also observed that this was a way that I was creating happiness for myself. because I was able to drop the expectations and live joyfully. I'd actually say that I was really good at this in my late teens and early 20s. Despite having some problems, I was generally able to be really content with what I had, with the experience of being alive. It was later on in my 30s, or later on in my 20s and then early 30s, that I started to get wrapped up in material seeking, and feeling like if I didn't have a certain kind of job where I was making a certain amount of money to get a certain kind of possessions, that I was not valuable. And that's a real trap. That's a place where I was not even seeking to live up to my own expectations, which is one way to create disappointment, but in fact, seeking to live up to these vague societal expectations, which weren't even coming from a specific person, but were simply pressures that I was putting on myself about things that I didn't really care about. Creating my own disappointment, creating my own unhappiness based on these vague requirements. And honestly, I still catch myself doing it. So the reason why I'm making this video is as a reminder. A reminder to myself and to anybody who this information is useful to, that expectations create disappointment. Especially if there are these vague societal expectations, things that you think that you're supposed to do at a certain time in life. Let it go. Let it go. You are living this one precious, beautiful life for yourself. Part of that involves taking care of your family and your friends, being good to people, shining your light from the inside out. But it does not mean structuring your life to make somebody else happy, to fulfill somebody else's expectations for what you should be doing with your precious life. That's a way to create some serious unrest, some serious disappointment in your life. When you spend years or decades fulfilling somebody else's dream for you. Your job is to do that for yourself and nobody else. And doing that for yourself should make the people around you feel good, feel happy about what you're doing, if they truly care about you. So, one of my favorite pieces of information from Tony Robbins is that if you turn your expectations into appreciation, your whole life will change. So again, I'm saying this as a reminder to myself, the message that I need for my own journey, and for anybody else that it may be helpful for. I have a tendency to set these really big dreams, these really big goals, with uncertain plans or no plans at all, and then feel frustrated and disappointed when they don't come right away or so quickly. But I realize I'm creating my own disappointment with my expectations. So I have appreciation for this moment, for the ability to share this information, for my voice, my cell phone and my tripod holding the camera for me right now, for this chair that I'm sitting in, and for this painting that I created, for all of these beautiful things and experiences surrounding me, for my family and friends. It feels good to be alive today. And it does every single day. So let's not get lost in our expectations, the requirements that somebody else or some vague societal force is putting on us. We're here to live our own lives. Thanks for watching today. Peace. I'll see you in the next video.